All right, guys, today we are going to talk about multiplication and we are also going to talk about multiplication with decimals. So we're going to kind of speed it up a little bit. And when I say multiplication, I don't mean like doing 5 times 7 equals 35. Those are your math facts. If for some reason you are not sure about your math facts, and you need help with this, please let me know so that way we can get you some work. And this is a really important skill, and there's things you can do like Khan Academy and stuff for that. But anyways, what we're going to look at today is multiplying bigger numbers, like maybe just double-digit numbers to start. So 25, let's do 25 times 37. And does everybody remember that this little dot means times? Because remember, when we're doing algebra, we use x's in algebra, and that can get really confusing. So 25 and 35, we're going to just stack them. And just like when we add and subtract, we want to make sure we do it by the place value. Oh, not 35, 37. Look at that. I'm telling you, I make way more mistakes when I'm doing this by myself and I don't have you guys to help correct me. All right. So now I'm going to start in my ones in this corner here, and I'm just going to times 7 times 5, which is going to get me 35. So I'm going to put a 5 down here, and then I'm going to make sure that I want to add the 30 up here, or the 3 up here. So then I'm going to go 7 times 2, which is 14. 14 plus 3 is 17. And now we're done with the 7. We just did it. Great job. The next I'm going to do this 3. And I want to remember that I have to put in that placeholder here. Remember, and I can just put a 0 or something to remind me to not put a number there, because we want to start, we're multiplying with this 3. We want to start right below this 3. So I'm going to do 3 times 5, which is 15. And remember, I'm going to put it right below. And then 15, so I have to bring my 10, my extra 10 up here. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Here's that there. And now I'm just going to simply add these down. Now it's important when you're doing this to make sure that you're really neat with your adding, because if not, then you can, it's easy to make some small mistakes. So I'm going to add these down. 5, 7 plus 5 is 12. Carry the 1. 7 plus 1 is 8, plus 1 is 9. And we get 925 as our answer. If you got that, give yourselves a pat on the back. Just a quick reminder, when you're watching these notes, you should be taking notes also and solving the problem along with me. All right. Now, since we're just doing review, we're going to move a little bit faster, and we're actually going to move on to decimals. And I know that some of us have struggled with decimals, and so I want you guys to try. I'm going to give you kind of a challenging one. So 13 and 91 hundredths times 7. Now, anytime I'm multiplying decimals, I always try and make a prediction. And the reason why is because sometimes it's really hard to know where to put the decimal place, right? Sometimes I don't know where that decimal place guy goes. So when I'm gonna do this, I want to make some kind of estimation, and I'm gonna estimate that this number here is 13, and this number is 7. And I know that 7 times 10 is 70. And I know that 7, I'll go like this, 7 times 10 is 70. And I know that 7 times 3 is 21. And this is information I'm doing in my head. And so I know that my answer is going to be approximately 91. And this little bit of work before you start solving your equation is going to help you make sure you put the decimal in the right spot, because that is probably our number one. Oh, how do I get you to stay, little dude? That's probably our number one mistake, is putting the decimal in the right spot. Okay. So just like when we multiply, we want to stack these up. And I personally like to put the smaller number underneath. Because of multiplication, we have the commutative property, commutative, and that means that these numbers can be stacked in any order. Not the same for division, not the same for multiplication, not the same for subtraction, but for multiplication, we can move the numbers and stack them however we want. So I personally like to put the number with the most digits up on top. So we have 13 and 91 hundredths, and the number with the least digits on bottom. Okay? And I'm just going to go ahead and solve. And remember, I'm going to start with a 7, and I'm going to multiply each number. So 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 9 is 63. So I'm going to put the 3 here, and I'm going to carry the 6. I'm kind of not going to worry about that decimal point. I'm just going to keep on working. 7 times 3 is 21, and I'm going to add the 6, which is going to give us 27. Carry the 2. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 2 is 9. So I have the numbers 9, 7, 3, 7 here. Now, I guesstimated over here that it was going to be about 91 for my answer. So based on that, I can probably guess that my decimal point should go right here. If I put my decimal point here, that would mean my answer is only 9, and that is not anywhere near what it should be. If I put my decimal point over here, that would be 973, which again is far too big. So that's one way of thinking about where to put your decimal point. The other way is doing the jumping method. So I want to see how many decimal points are in my problem, or how many places are in my problem. So in 13 and 91 hundredths, I have 1, 2 places, and there's no decimal in my bottom number here. So then I just move my decimal 1, 2 places. Okay, so that's the jumping method. Either method works, but I really recommend always predicting, because that's going to help you make sure that you're kind of in the right area. We make a lot of mistakes when we multiply. It's really easy to do. All right, let's try another one. And this time let's try one with extra decimal, with 2 decimal numbers with decimals in them. So let's go ahead and try 4 and 8 tenths times 7 and 2 tenths. Okay, so a lot of dots. We'll put an X here for this one. So because of commutative property multiplication, I can stack these however I want. They're the same, so I'm just going to stack them the first number first. Okay. Now, same thing, I'm not going to worry about the decimals. And just like before, I want to kind of do a quick estimate. So I've got a 4 and I've got a 7. And I know that 4 times 7 is equal to 28. Now, this is 4.8, so that's pretty close to 5. So I'm going to guesstimate that my answer is probably going to be closer to maybe like 32-ish. I'm not really sure. I'm just kind of making a guesstimation. All right, let's go ahead and jump into multiplying. 2 times 8 is 16. Carry that 1. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1. That's going to give us 9. Then I'm going to jump over here to the 7. 7 times 8 is 56. Sorry, I got an email. 7 times 8 is 56. So I'm going to put my 6 right here. Remember, I have to have that place value here. I can't put anything here. And I'm going to carry the 5. 7 times 4 is 28, plus 5 is going to give us 33. And that's going to go right here. So now I'm simply going to solve by adding, or finish the problem by adding. So I bring the 6 down. 9 and 6 is going to give us 15. Carry the 1. 3 and 1 is 4. Bring the 3 down. Now, is this number 3,456? Is that my answer? Well, we guesstimated up here it was going to be about 32. So I'm willing to bet my decimal point goes right here. Let's go ahead and do the jumping method just to double check. There's one decimal here, so I do one jump. There's another decimal here, so I do another jump. That's two jumps all together. I start here, 1, 2, bada bing, bada boom. Looks like we have the correct answer. Let's try one more. Let's get a little bit of a bigger number going on here. It's a little bit too light of a color. Okay, let's go ahead and try 3 1/10 times 5/100. Now, whenever I deal in hundredths, I really like to think about money. This to me means a nickel. So when I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking that this means how much money would I have if I had 3 nickels? Is that a lot of money? I don't think so. I'm going to guesstimate that my answer is going to be about 15 cents or 15 if you want to think about it in money. All right. You can stack this up any way that you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and put the 3.1 on top. Remember, when we are multiplying, we do not need to line up our decimal points. Let me repeat that again for the people in the back. Do not line up decimals. This is for multiplication and division only. We do not need to line up our decimals, okay? We figure out where the decimal goes by doing jumps or by estimating. We do not line them up. In addition and subtraction, that's a different story, but this is not addition and subtraction. You can see my YouTube video on addition and subtraction on my YouTube channel if you want to know how to do that one. So I'm going to start with this number here. It's a 5. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 3 is 15. Okay, now if I were to do these zeros, I would just get 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, zeros across the board. So I don't think I actually want to do any zeros. I'm not even going to bother multiplying these, but I might need a 0. Let's go ahead and take a look. I guessed that it was going to be about 1500s, right? Or like 15 cents. So where could my decimal place go? Well, it's not going to go there because that is 155. It's not going to go there because that's 15. I'm not going to get $15 out of 3 nickels, that's for sure. I'm not even going to get $1 out of 3 nickels. So I'm going to guesstimate that my decimal point is going to go right there. Let's go ahead and do the jumping method to check our work. So there's 1 for the one on the top, 1, 2 jumps for the one on the bottom. That's 3 jumps all together. 1, 2, 3. Ta-da, it checks out. Our answer is 155 thousandths. All right, so this was kind of a quick crash course on multiplying. There's going to be some assignments in Khan Academy for you to do, as well as we're going to do some division tomorrow, and we are going to jump into some word problems. So good job. I hope you were able to get some notes and work along with me. Have a good rest of your day.